Tiana Brooks was only 17 years old. She had a smile that could make you forget your worst day and a laugh that would travel across the block. She was a junior at Jefferson High School in Atlanta, Georgia. Friends called her T. She lived with her mother, Denise Brooks, a hardworking nurse, and her younger brother, Malik. Tiana dreamed of becoming a nurse like her mother, but her world was about to take a dark turn. On the evening of September 14th, 2019, Tiana was excited. She had been invited to a small birthday gathering at a friend's cousin's house. It wasn't anything fancy, just music, snacks, and a few familiar faces. Her mother told her, "Be home by 11," and she promised she would. She left the house wearing a denim jacket, her hair in a neat bun, and her favorite sneakers. When she arrived at the party, she noticed a few people she didn't know. One man in particular kept glancing at her. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a face that stayed cold even when he laughed. She didn't think much of it at first. The music was loud, people were dancing, and the night seemed harmless. Around 10:45 p.m., Tiana texted her mother that she was on her way home. Her friend Keisha offered to walk her halfway, but Tiana said she'd be fine. The streets were quiet except for the sound of her footsteps and the occasional car passing by. Halfway down Jefferson Street, she noticed someone following her. She picked up her pace. The footsteps behind her grew faster too. Her heart raced. She turned around. But before she could react, she saw more than one figure. Out of nowhere, she felt a sharp pain in her side. Someone had stabbed her. She tried to scream, but a hand covered her mouth. Another blow came, and then another. She struggled, kicking and clawing at her attackers. In the chaos, she caught a glimpse of one face. It was that man from the party. Just when she thought it was over, a deafening bang tore through the night. She had been shot. Once. Twice. Again. The shots echoed off the brick walls of nearby buildings. Her body grew heavy, but she fought to stay conscious. A man named Harold Johnson, who lived nearby, heard the gunshots. He ran to the window and saw shadows running away. He dialed 911 immediately. "I think a girl's been shot out here," he shouted. Paramedics arrived within minutes. They found Tiana lying on the pavement, bleeding from multiple wounds. She was still breathing, her eyes wide with fear. They rushed her to Grady Memorial Hospital. In the emergency room, Tiana fought to speak. A detective leaned close. "Who did this to you?" he asked. She whispered one name, a name they didn't recognize, before slipping into surgery. In the emergency room, Tiana's breaths were shallow. Blood seeped through the bandages as doctors worked frantically. Detective Marlon Pierce leaned down. "Tiana, can you tell me who did this?" Her lips trembled, and she whispered a single name. "Dre." Then her eyes rolled back, and the medical team pushed the detective away as they rushed her into surgery. Dre meant nothing to the officers on duty. No one at the party had mentioned a Dre. The name was written on the top of the case file, underlined twice. The problem was, Tiana hadn't given a last name, and Dre was a common nickname in Atlanta. It could belong to anyone. Denise Brooks arrived at the hospital in a panic. Malik was by her side, crying. The doctors told them Tiana was in critical condition. Denise's legs went weak. She kept asking, "Who would do this to my baby?" But no one had the answer. Keisha, Tiana's best friend, came forward. She told detectives about the man at the party. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a cold stare. She didn't know his name, but she remembered his jacket, black leather with a gold snake on the back. It wasn't much, but it was something. Detectives went door to door in the neighborhood near the party. It didn't take long before someone recognized the jacket. "Yeah, I've seen that," a neighbor said. "Belongs to a dude named Dre Thompson. Stays over on Auburn Avenue." The lead was thin, but it was enough to move forward. The next morning, detectives returned to the hospital. Tiana was awake but barely. They asked her again about Dre. Her voice was weak. "Not alone. There was more." Before she could explain, alarms sounded and nurses rushed in. Her condition had worsened. The idea that more than one person was involved changed everything. This wasn't just a random act of violence. It was a coordinated attack. Detectives began pulling surveillance footage from streets near the crime scene, hoping to find proof. One grainy camera caught them. 3 figures running down the street after the shots. One wore the snake jacket. Another had a hood pulled tight. The third was shorter, possibly a woman. The images were blurred, but it confirmed Tiana's words. She had been attacked by more than one person. Dre Thompson was 24, with a long record: robbery, assault, and drug charges. Detectives learned he had been seen at the party, but when they went to his last known address, he was gone. Word spread quickly. In neighborhoods like this, people don't always trust the police, but some quietly shared what they knew. One woman said she heard Dre had a problem with Tiana because she had turned down his advances weeks before. Another claimed he thought she was running her mouth about him. Keisha dropped a bombshell. She recognized the shorter attacker from the blurry footage. Her name was Lachey, Dre's on-again, off-again girlfriend, and she was known to be fiercely jealous. Lachey had a reputation. More than one girl in the neighborhood had been slapped, threatened, or even jumped by her. The idea that she joined Dre in an attack on Tiana didn't surprise anyone who knew her. The man in the hood remained unidentified. Detectives feared he might be the key to the whole case. They suspected he was the shooter, while Dre and Lachey had done the stabbing. Days passed. Tiana underwent multiple surgeries. She drifted in and out of consciousness. Each time she woke, detectives tried to get more details, but she was too weak to talk for long. She seemed haunted by the fact she couldn't name all of them. One night she whispered to her mother, "They're gonna come back." Denise tried to comfort her, but she could feel her daughter's fear. Whoever these people were, Tiana believed they wouldn't stop until she was gone. Security footage from the hospital shocked everyone. A man in a hood was seen entering the building late one night, bypassing the front desk. He never made it to Tiana's room. A nurse noticed him and called security. But the message was clear. She wasn't safe. Police arranged for Tiana to be moved to a more secure wing of the hospital. 2 officers were posted outside her door at all times. Still, the tension was thick. Everyone knew her attackers were still out there. Rumors exploded. Some said Dre had left town. Others claimed he was hiding in plain sight, bouncing between friends' houses. Lachey was seen at a gas station, but by the time police arrived, she was gone. Finally, Tiana gave detectives the third name, Rico. She didn't know his last name, but she remembered his voice during the attack. "That's enough, man. Let's go," he had said right after the shots. Rico, Lil Rick Henderson, was 19, with no major record, just small-time hustling. But his connection to Dre went back years. They were childhood friends. With enough evidence to link them to the attack, police got warrants for Dre Thompson, Lachey Miller, and Rico Henderson. But all 3 had vanished. The attack on Tiana shook the neighborhood. She was young, loved, and had no gang ties. Community members held candlelight vigils and demanded the suspects be caught. A tip came in. Dre had been spotted in Macon, Georgia, staying at a cousin's apartment. SWAT moved in, but by the time they entered, Dre had slipped out the back door. Lachey's capture came by accident. She was pulled over for running a red light in Savannah. When the officer ran her name, the warrant popped up. She was arrested on the spot. At first, Lachey denied everything, but after hours of questioning, she admitted she was there the night of the attack. She blamed Dre, saying he was the one who wanted to teach Tiana a lesson. Despite her will to live, Tiana's body couldn't recover from the damage. Her kidneys failed and infection set in. Doctors warned her family she might not survive much longer. Police finally cornered Dre in a rundown motel outside of Jacksonville, Florida. He tried to escape through the bathroom window, but officers dragged him back inside. He was charged with attempted murder. Rico was caught days later in Atlanta, hiding in his grandmother's attic. He went quietly, avoiding eye contact with the officers. On October 8, 2019, after nearly a month in the hospital, Tiana whispered, "I'm tired," to her mother. She took her last breath minutes later. She was just 17 years old. With Tiana's death, charges against Dre, Lachey, and Rico were upgraded to first-degree murder. The trial date was set, and the community waited for justice. During the trial, prosecutors painted a picture of jealousy, pride, and cold-blooded violence. Witnesses placed all 3 at the scene. Surveillance footage sealed their fate. Dre Thompson was found guilty and sentenced to life without parole. Lachey Miller received 25 years. Rico Henderson, who pulled the trigger, got life plus 20 years. Today, Tiana's mother runs a foundation in her daughter's name, fighting to protect young women from violence. Every year on September 14th, the neighborhood gathers to light candles and say her name, Tiana Brooks, so no one forgets the bright young girl whose life was stolen. Remember to share, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the following story.